His 255 kills make him the deadliest American sniper in history. Now the former Navy SEAL is opening up about combat, kill shots, and transitioning back to civilian life. Chris Kyle served a decade in the military, fighting in some of the biggest battles of the Iraq War. 160 of his 255 kills have been confirmed by the Pentagon. His longest shot, 2,100 yards. That's about 1.2 miles. All that earning him the nickname, the Legend, from fellow SEALs.
Yep, and here he is right next to me, Chris Kyle, Chief Petty Officer Chris Kyle. Born in Odessa, now runs a North Texas security firm, lives right here in North Texas with us. But it's what he did between 1999 when he joined the Navy and 2009 that's the subject of this book, American Sniper. Chris, or Chief Petty Officer Kyle, I'll give you that instead. Chris seems too informal. All right, Chris, I have friends who've served, friends of family, and when you bring up the question, the kids especially do, have you killed anybody? You know, it's kind of one of those touchy subjects that people don't really want to open up about, but you have. Why is that?
I'm trying to grab your attention because I got a story behind it that I want you to listen to. And it's not the story about, hey, look at me. It's a story of, look at the heroes I served with. And it's easy to look good when you're surrounded by these guys. Also, I want people to recognize the sacrifices that military members make. Not just them, but when they deploy, they're leaving behind their families, and their families go through hard, stressful times without their spouses being there.
Absolutely. All right. In the book I read, you rarely wore a helmet because it was just not comfortable and cool for you. You liked the caps. You said 90% of being cool is looking cool, and a cap makes you look cool. You have an insignia on your cap and your shirt. What's that insignia about?
Well, in '06, we started putting the Punisher spray painted on our body armor and our helmets, and it was just to show, hey, we're the guys, we're here, don't mess with us.
And that's your company logo now?
Yes, right? It is my company logo. Okay. It has the crosshairs in the right eye, because that's where my buddy was shot. He was shot in the right eye, and he lived for 3 years after the fact, completely blinded, Ryan Job. Right. And after the Somali pirate deal went down, they asked him, what do you think about SEALs out there shooting the pirates? And he said, despite what your mama told you, violence does solve problems.
And it did, and it was over really quick. All right, Heather mentioned the 2,100-yard kill shot, 1.2 miles. We have some pictures of the gun that you used to do that. That's the 338, and on the side of it, on one of the shots, you even call what you have the dope card. That's so you know how high or what, you know, you kind of, it's the mathematics of long distance shooting. On a 2,100-yard shot, what do you aim at?
You still aim center mass. You put the crosshairs right on them. The turrets move, and you just dial it in. That way the crosshairs stay directly on the target.
So you don't have to aim high, or I mean, the muzzle may be high, but you're still putting the crosshairs on the person. How about movement side to side? Do you need to lead people?
Definitely. That's one thing we didn't dial for. Wind changes constantly. Right. You have your gust, and then all your different wind values between you and the target, so you don't dial for that.
I mean, from a mile, 1.2 miles, you got, anyway, talk about the way you did a lot of the sniping. You'd sometimes be behind a wall for coverage, and you'd blow a hole in the wall, and so they couldn't really see you. You're shooting through a hole down a long street.
Yes, sir. It's a small charge, basically a shaped charge we'd stick on the wall, make a really small circle to where we could shoot out of. Tried to keep ourselves a little more hidden.
And when you went into Fallujah, you know, you're not leading the way, but you kind of are, because you're behind and taking out the people who our troops are first maybe coming into contact with. Your bullets are out front, but you're protecting the Marines as they go.
Right, the Marines were definitely leading the way.
Yes, obviously. But you got to protect over the top. All right, you wanted to talk about family and kind of how people assimilate. You have a wife, you have a son, and you have a young daughter too, is that right? Okay. Talk about getting back into real life after your 10 years, and other people may be struggling to do that. You were able to do it. Talk about the struggle. You worry about people, I know.
Well, it's tough. I mean, you come out, and being in, I was extremely prideful. It was always, everything you're doing is for a greater good. I firmly believe in the country and, you know, everything it stands for, and I felt like that was something, you know, no matter where they told me I had to go, you don't have to believe in where you're going. You do what you have to do, what you're told to do, because you believe in a greater good. And then it's just following through with it, and you have this huge, strong brotherhood of buddies who are always going to be there for you, and they become your #1 family, sadly, because you know them better. You stand beside them all the time. You're always with them, and you know their every move. And then when you come home, now everything you're doing is for your own good. And you're just, other people
and
are down
maybe you're
there.
not as good at that, right? Battling for yourself, and I got to be all about me, getting an education, getting money. That's foreign to you, kind of coming back, right?
Right, and then you're also coming back to where people don't really talk about the war too much unless it's talking about a drawdown, but you still have troops in harm's way. So we're trying to, and there's a North Texas company here called Fitco that I went to them with an idea and they blew it up. And I told them, I said, one of the things that helped me out was I started getting back into shape. Once I got my body back, it's easier to get your mind back.
I want to ask you, I'm going to say, you're kind of a wild man. Would you agree with me a little bit? You kind of are. I mean, when you first found out you're going back into Fallujah, on page 121, you say, we are going to kill massive amounts of bad guys. I'm going to be right in the middle of it, and you were looking forward to it. Now, so we've established you a little bit of a wild guy. You like to do your job, and you punched out Jesse Ventura. That's another thing I'd say is a wild. Tell me, you were at a wake for one of your buddies who died, and you say Ventura made some comments that deserved to get him knocked on his butt. How'd that go down?
He did. He's definitely not for the war.
But he's a former Navy SEAL, so he should be. That's why he was there, because he has the same access to the things you guys did.
Yes. Well, it's a public bar, but it's just, we call it a SEAL bar because all the SEAL memorabilia that's all over the walls.
What did he say? What did he do?
He was going off on the war and upsetting a lot of people, and we asked him to keep it quiet. And
so he said something that got you.
He said we deserved to lose some guys.
And after you had just lost a buddy.
Right.
And his next stop was.
Well, he fell down.
He fell down, yeah. Those things happen, right? People fall down. All right, I do want to tell you that I put this on my Facebook that I was going to interview you, and almost every response was, make sure you thank him for us. So there you go. All the people really want to thank you for
Thank you. I appreciate it.
your work for the military. Thank you.
My honor serving this country.
All right, Chief Petty Officer Chris Kyle will be at a Barnes & Noble book signing, so you can get your copy of this and get it signed. Northwest Highway in Dallas starts at 7 o'clock Monday night. And you can also find out more about American Sniper on Facebook. Again, Monday night, 7 o'clock, the Barnes & Noble Lincoln Center. That's 7700 Northwest Highway.